Hi everyone, welcome to the Quipster Film Review Podcast. My name is Vince Leo. I'm the author of the film review website, quipster.net. You can find all of my written reviews there at that website, quipster.net, quipster.net. Today I'm going to be looking at a documentary that is appearing on Hulu exclusively. It's an original documentary for that streaming service. It's called Batman and Bill. It's not rated. I probably would rate it G. I think it's suitable for all audiences, and it runs 1 hour and 33 minutes. There's not really a cast here that includes actors, but you see an appearance of Kevin Smith. There's a lot of archival footage of Bob Kane, Mark Tyler Nobleman, a children's book author who specifically looks at a lot of comic book interest stories, is in here. Roy Thomas, a long-time veteran of comic books, is also in here. The directors are Don Argett and Sheena M. Joyce. This is, as I mentioned, a Hulu-original documentary. It asserts that, contrary to popular belief, that Bob Kane was not only not the sole creator of DC Comics' most famous superhero, the Batman, but he really wasn't the main ideas guy behind Batman's most iconic aspects. You could guess from the film's title, there's another person, a reclusive but creative man named Bill Finger. Finger molded Batman from the get-go to how we experience him today, from the trademark cape-and-cowl look of Bruce Wayne's costume, to his tragic backstory, to giving a name and atmosphere to Gotham City, to the Batcave and its contents, to Robin, Dick Grayson, and to the many rogues gallery of villains, including the likes of his most popular ones, the Joker and the Penguin and Catwoman. If you've never heard of Bill Finger, that's probably the point of this documentary altogether. At no time did Bill Finger, who wrote for Kane directly on things that Kane put his name on, he never got any credit for himself and his own ideas, other than on one episode of the 1960s camp comedy Batman with Adam West. And he pretty much ended his life in obscurity. So, leading the crusade to see proper props go to the creation of the Caped Crusader, we follow that published children's book author Mark Tyler Nobleman, who wrote books like Boys of Steel, the creators of Superman, and Bill the Boy Wonder, the secret co-creator of Batman, to which this film owes a lot to a large extent. Nobleman has dedicated quite a sizable chunk of his life to trying to uncover details on Bill Finger's involvement in the genesis of Batman, as well as to make sure that everyone recognized one of the most important men responsible for making this iconic character one of the most well-known fictional characters around the world, really. Much of Batman and Bill as a film goes to the detective work undergone by Tyler in rooting out the creator of Detective Comics' most popular hero, as well as in trying to see if there's anyone in Finger's family still around who might be able to challenge status quo thinking among DC and Warner Brothers. What Nobleman discovers is a very sad story of two separate lives. The high life granted to Bob Kane for his wheeling and dealing contracts that benefited him quite well in terms of giving him credit for being the sole creator of Batman. And that led to a financial boom for him, and it put him right into the public eye as one of the few comic book celebrities. And then we see the nearly complete obscurity, as well as the financial and personal hardships of the man that helped Kane get that fame and fortune, Bill Finger. This documentary is very well produced. We see choice interviews from comics legends like Roy Thomas, Batman expert Kevin Smith. There's a lot of news and archival footage of Bob Kane and other Batman-related events that chart the soaring popularity of the character into popular culture. The directors, Don Argett and Sheena M. Joyce, use Nobleman as the through line of the story. He utilizes a comic book style, these animated sequences, to fill in the gaps of speculation on what may have happened behind the scenes in the worlds of Bob Kane and Bill Finger, to not only market Batman, but also show how one person could hog all of the spotlight, while the other one gets lost in the shadows of Gotham City's darkest alleyways. And while Kane had a finger in every lucrative Batman pie, there was one finger suspiciously barred from the discussion. This is a tragedy looking for a triumph. Now, as the outcome of the search for truth is not well known, which is one of the main points of this documentary, I won't reveal much more about what Nobleman's quest uncovers, or whether Bill Finger's involvement in the creation of the Batman mythos would ever receive credit on any level from DC Comics or Warner Brothers, or even if it gets resolved at any point within the film. I'll say that for fans of The Dark Knight, which is a nickname that Bill Finger created for Batman, or just viewers who have an interest in this as an absorbing human interest story. It's very accessible for non-comic book geeks. Batman and Bill is a compelling and insightful documentary that entertains, it educates, and it challenges. Now, on a personal note, as a lifelong comic book fan, I will also admit of never having heard of the Bill Finger story before, but now that I have through this excellent documentary, I'll always think of him whenever I see the name Bob Kane found on the voluminous amounts of Batman-related material that I consume from here on out. I really enjoyed Batman and Bill. I'm giving it 3.5 stars out of 4. 3.5 stars on my scale means that I do recommend it quite highly. I think that it's worth going out of your way to see if you're at all interested in this material. If you have Hulu, you can definitely watch it today. And if you don't have Hulu and you're mulling over whether or not you should subscribe at least for 1 month or maybe even a trial period, this definitely would be one I think is worth your while to check out. Batman and Bill is the name of the movie. Thanks everyone for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you did and you want to reach out to me and send me a note, you can go to my website, quipster.net, where you can find my email address as well as links to my Twitter feed and Facebook page. All of those are great ways to get in touch with me. Quipster.net is where to go, QWIPSTER.net. You can also find more of my podcasting work on the In Session Film podcast, the extra film segments of that show. So go to InSessionFilm.com for details on that. Thanks everyone for listening, and until next time, please enjoy your time. Anytime, you either go to the movies or you watch a really excellent documentary streaming at home.